Welcome to my off-grid adventures. I'm Frank, and today I'm going to share a highlight reel of my favorite trail cam video footage from this season, along with a few recordings from last year. I'm going to start with this buck that I was so excited to harvest, but you'll also see an intense deer fight, a variety of other nice bucks, a canine that's either a coyote or a wolf, and a few other woodland creatures that roam our off-grid property. In case you're curious, these are the trail cameras and security cameras from which this footage was taken. We have 3 different brands of trail cameras and 2 different types of security cameras that have captured this footage. Throughout this video, I'll point out which camera took each clip, and you might be surprised that the cheapest models actually have a much clearer image than the expensive ones. Let's go back to that footage and take a look at this beautiful 10-point buck. In a moment, I'll show videos of him from last year, but this was the first time I captured him on video in 2023. He's a solid 10-pointer here, but by the time I harvested him, one of his brow tines broke close to the base, which is a little sad, but I still couldn't be more excited about this deer. He's the reason I hunted as hard as I did this season. By the way, this footage is from the Medace P80 Pro Bluetooth trail camera, and the link is in the description. I'm really happy with this one. The next time I captured him on camera was when he was running does, as you can see here. This was taken on a Solium SL800 solar cellular security camera. This is by far the most expensive camera of them all, but as you can see, the footage is rather blurry. You'd have a difficult time trying to count points on this rack. It does have other benefits and features though, like the ability to move almost 360 degrees and a 2-way radio for security reasons. Not long after the last footage was taken, he appeared again, still looking for does. And once again, the image isn't as clear as I'd like, but at least I was able to confirm that he was still in the area. By the way, this buck is only about 10 or 15 feet from one of our biggest outbuildings, so it doesn't disturb these deer at all to have our presence out here. This was the last time that I captured footage of this buck with that Solium camera. And since I didn't see him for a while, I wasn't sure if he was harvested by someone else or if he left the area. I was so relieved to see him again a couple of weeks later on this camera. This is back on that Medace P80 Pro camera, and somehow it got knocked over a little bit. But you can definitely see it's the same buck, and I was very relieved to know he was still available. On Wednesday evening, November 29th at around 4:15 p.m., he finally appeared for the first time while I was hunting. He was only 15 yards away and only came near me because of 2 does in a food plot nearby. He never saw me, and when he stopped broadside, I was able to make a perfect shot. He only ran about 40 or 50 yards. I was super excited and was glad to share the experience of finding him with my dad, who, for the record, has never shot anything bigger than an 8-point. So I finally have some bragging rights. Before showing you some footage of him from last season, I want to show that food plot that I was talking about. This is the only reason this buck came into range. This is just a 6 by 4 foot area of cereal rye. It was so easy to plant, grew fast, and it did the trick. I have another video about that food plot. There's a link to it in the description. I have a lot of footage of deer grazing through this area, and while some of that plays, I want to remind you that this footage was taken on the Medace Bluetooth camera. I'm very pleased with the quality of the video footage. I just need to get better at mounting it more securely so it doesn't shift around. As you can see, it's not perfectly level here either. I have 4 videos of this buck from last season. Well, it's either him or a close relative. I'm going to hunt hard for those shed antlers just to try to compare them. For whatever reason, this particular part of our property is where the bucks like to be. But the big bucks will either come out late at night or they'll hide just on the other side of this tree line here. This is the last piece of footage that I have of my best buck ever. So now we're going to get to some videos of a variety of other bucks that were captured on our cameras. This 5 or 6 point buck has tall tines, a little bit irregular on the right side, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he grows up over the years. That was the only footage that I captured of that one. Here we have a really nice 8-point that should be a beauty next year. Here comes a nice tall spike. I can't wait to see how big this 4-pointer turns out next year. Looks like this guy got in a fight. I'm going to be silent for the next couple of clips so you can listen closely to the deer grunts. The camera's captured a lot of footage like this where the buck doesn't show itself, but you can tell that it's making a scrape or rubbing its antlers on this tree where the camera's mounted. This camera is the Vickery trail camera. It isn't Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, but it's very cheap and has a really good clear picture and video. You get clear footage of this beautiful young deer, and it's much better than the Solium counterpart that's much more expensive. The next couple of clips show just how close these deer get to the camera. It looks like this one is just about licking it or smelling it. Before we get to some footage of an intense deer fight, I want to show you some of the other woodland creatures that are on our 40-acre off-grid property. We have a lot of turkey. I've counted over 20 or 30 at a time, and there's a lot of footage, but I'm not as into turkeys as other animals, so I'll leave it at that. Here we have a fox caught at night. I haven't seen one of these during the daytime, so I'm excited to know that they're on our property. I think they're beautiful animals. I think this photo is a coyote, but it could be a small wolf. I'm really not sure. Let me know what you think in the comments. This porcupine showed up quite a bit this summer. Now let's get to that deer fight that I was talking about. Let's look at that one more time in slow motion and zoomed in just a little bit. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps my channel. And subscribe to see more off-grid content, RV content, product reviews, and how-to videos. Thank you for watching this highlight reel of the 2023 Michigan deer season. I'll see you next time.